What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Pokemarket Lab. If you are liking the content, if you could do me a favor, please like, comment, or subscribe, or any combination of those three, and let's get into it. I thought it would be interesting to go back in time a little bit and take a look at Temporal Forces and see how it's stacking up in the Scarlet and Violet era. So let's look at the booster box first. When this booster box came out, this was kind of, in my opinion, when we really started to see the shift from with the focus from Sword and Shield over to Scarlet and Violet. And one of the main reasons for that is when this booster box came out, this was kind of the shift in focus from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet. So this came out in March of 24, so March of this year. And before this, we had seen pretty depressed prices on a lot of Scarlet and Violet product. This has actually held on pretty well. If you can see here on the chart, it kind of bounced off that $100 mark. You could get these sub 100 on TikTok with coupons and everything, but it's held on fairly well. Look at this volume over the last year. We over 6,000, almost 7,000 boxes sold. And our prices kind of held steady until recently when it did kind of tick up a little bit here. Boxes available on TCG Player is very much in alignment with most other Scarlet and Violet sets. It has taken a dip in the last month, probably a lot to do with the focus now on the future. And that's something I think we'll probably have to talk about more is, yes, we've seen more money pour into almost everything in Scarlet and Violet, but with Twilight Masquerade, Surging Sparks, you have Prismatic Evolutions, and then the Team Rocket set. Are we going to see that money kind of wait in the wings for, the back half S and V sets, or are we going to see that money kind of spread evenly? If you have these really powerful sets in the back half of Scarlet and Violet, are we going to see the appreciation most of us want to see on those forward sets? Even though I think subjectively, at least, and maybe objectively, if we're looking at selling data here, they're not as strong a set as what we're going to see in the future and what we are seeing with things like Surging Sparks and Prismatic Evolutions. I think there's a very clear line in the sand from Twilight Masquerade onward. So again, just recapping the booster boxes, they've done fairly well. They've outperformed. Paradox Rift is definitely I would call that below this set. But let's get into some more data here and look at some of the other data points. One I like to look at is the total value of cards in this set. You can see this is held on pretty well to a total value of 703 versus 795. And with this set, we're talking about that value being spread over more cards, right? We don't have that Chase Magikarp card that's soaking up a lot of the data. So from a lot of that total value. So from a pack opening standpoint, it's not necessarily a hit this chase card or bust, right? When you have that value spread out from an opening standpoint, to me that's just a lot more fun. So again, it's holding its own there for sure. And let's kind of take a look at those prices. You can see we have Raging Bolt at the top here. The market price is $75. That's your chase. Not really my cup of tea. Really, those top two cards, Raging Bolt and Walking Wake, are just too busy for me. And again, it's just my opinion. Obviously, the market disagrees with me. I do like the Iron Crown. Ghastly, I absolutely love. I'm so surprised. Obviously, it's an illustration rare versus an SIR, so it's easier to pull, which means it's more on the market. So that's kind of affecting price. But that's one of my favorite art cards in this set. Surprised this Gengar is not higher as well. But just lots of really good cards. We see that clean artwork that we've kind of seen in Scarlet and Violet, which I appreciate. Even like this Deerling and Saw's book. Very clean art. These two can kind of connect to each other here. Gouging Fire, again, too busy for me. We'll kind of go into those. I love this Litten. I think that's cute. I think that's clean. I like that. Iron Leaves, I think, is a great card. Again, clean, unique. You get that foiling in person, and it really does stand out. So let's take a look closer here at the top value cards in the set. Again, not my favorite. Market disagrees with me. However, there's just not a ton of movement here. It's very, very steady. Raging Bolt, really almost no movement here. The volume's not so great on this card, which is Again, it's weird because there's really not much available here on the market. We only have 52 currently available, which is actually quite low. So we could see an uptick tick here soon. I just don't. It's just, to me, it's not a super chase card. I don't think any of these are. I would have guessed Iron Crown would have come up on top, but again, I was wrong. So definitely some more volume here, more sell volume with Walking Wake and Iron Crown. And then we see Gouging Fire, Morty's Conviction, and Iron Leaves. We start to see the volume pick up here again. Lower price point means more people. It's more approachable. So Gouging Fire's had some great sales here. Very consistent on that selling volume. Morty's Conviction's actually moving quite well here. But we, again, a lot more on the market here, so it's going to be harder to drive that price up. But again, very, very flat. Gouging Fire's had a little bit of a jump here. It is starting to dry up a little bit from a quantity standpoint here on TCG Player. But again, nothing, very mid-tier set, I would say, in terms of art. It's okay, not the best. But again, that value being spread out means it is fun to open. You got some good hits you can get. It's not an all or nothing set. And then let's look at my favorites here. Like I mentioned before, that Ghastly I think this is a gorgeous card. I have not picked this up yet. I bet it looks fantastic in person, but I have not grabbed it. I think I'm going to do it after recording this video. I love that Lickitung too. I think that's just wanted to point this one out. Again, clean art style, very whimsical. I love that trend in Scarlet and Violet. I think they're really, I love that cleaner art. I think it looks better in person. I think it looks better on the screen. And the Iron Leaves, I think, is a great card too. I don't think I like it as much as the Ghastly, but it's, again, nice, clean art, very unique Pokemon. So I was surprised this didn't do better than it had. So that's it. That's our recap, our little update here in Temporal Forces. Solid set. I've picked up a few of these boxes below $100. I'll continue to pick them up as I come across them for cheap. It's a very mid-tier, very solid set. And again, I think it's... the one thing I will point out here, I think because of the mid-tier artwork, if this had been released earlier in the year, I think it would have suffered a lot more. I don't think it suffered at all. I think it would have suffered if it was released earlier when that focus was really squarely on Sword and Shield. And I think this benefited from depressed pricing when that focus shifted. This was a fairly cheap box, not necessarily, you could find it below 100, it was right along that 100 line. So it was very approachable if you were coming from Sword and Shield. You could pick up 2 boxes of this for the price of 1 Sword and Shield box. So it seemed like it is a great deal, and it is a good deal. But if had it been released earlier, I think it would have suffered pretty hard. So I think this one was definitely timed quite well. So solid set, solid pickup to hold long term. And that's all for today on Poke Market Lab. We will see you on the next one.